Yeah, let's take a second. I'd like to talk about my Final Fantasy journey, if you guys would hear me out. So, long time ago for my birthday, I don't know, it was like 10 or something. My stepdad, he like, I don't know if he stole it or if somebody gave it to him, but they gave him the first disc of Final Fantasy VII. Um, so that I didn't know it was a multi-disc series, and neither did he. I mean, he didn't know anything about video games. So I never finished it. I never got very far because I didn't read anything. I didn't do any reading. I liked it. It looked cool. I actually hadn't even played Kingdom Hearts yet. I didn't know anything about this series. So I got stuck, and I stopped playing the game a long time ago. And years later, I would play Kingdom Hearts, and then I would become familiar with these Final Fantasy characters through Kingdom Hearts, and that was all fun. But I never... It took many, many years before I took the time to actually play the Final Fantasy games. Let's see, I think I played Bravely Default before I played Final Fantasy. And I played like Final Fantasy Dissidia, but I had never really gotten into any of the games. Fast forward to the launch of Final Fantasy 15. I had been following 15 and Versus 13 for years, so I was very familiar with it, and I was very excited. I was very hyped. It was my jam, you know. And then it turned out to be very different from all of the trailers and promotional material, and then we're all familiar with the controversy behind in 15, okay? Despite that, I love 15. Base 15 had me really, really frustrated, but then the updates and the DLC really fleshed it out into something I love. And by the time the Royal Edition came out, I'm like, this game is fucking awesome. I love it. Like, Final Fantasy, that's why I always recommend Final Fantasy 15 Royal Edition, because it's like a genuinely awesome game, awesome experience. And then if you could also get your hands on Arden's story mode, it's great. It's great. They make the final dungeon so much better, and they added several bosses, and it's like everything I wanted. I remember seeing the trailer for the Royal Edition at like 3 a.m. and like they had like the rulers of your boss fights, and I'm like, I'm freaking out. 3 a.m. in my bed, my wife's asleep, and I'm just like, oh my god, this trailer's for me. They're giving me everything I ever wanted. And there's still like a lot of stuff like left out that I wished had been done. Like, I was fully invested in the second volume of DLC. I wanted it so bad. I was so excited, and really disappointed that it did not happen. Sad, very sad. I even bought the book, but I have not read it yet. I will one day. So yeah, Final Fantasy 15 is like where I started, and I was and then I played Final Fantasy 9. I'm trying to remember. Okay, so I played Final Fantasy 7 Remake. That was like my next main Final Fantasy game, okay? And then from Final Fantasy Remake, it was just, I just fully enveloped myself in the world of Final Fantasy. People say Final Fantasy X is the best. Sadly, I can't get into turn-based because I'm used to Kingdom Hearts gameplay, lol. But Persona 5 and Star Rail helped me with my turn-based hate, lol. I am still slightly salty if Final Fantasy 15 wasn't Versus 13, but Kingdom Hearts 4 might change that. True. Hot take that isn't Kingdom Hearts related, but I dislike Final Fantasy 7 Remake. A lot of people don't like Final Fantasy 7 Remake. I loved it. I adore. It was everything I wanted and more. And Rebirth is just that, but better. Let me finish my little tale. So yeah, I played 15. I played all the DLC, and I'm just fully invested in 15. And then 7, being a huge Kingdom Hearts fan, and I was also very, very familiar with the 7, the game and the movie, and the Kingdom Hearts versions, I was like, yeah, I am going to play this game, and I'm gonna love it. So I played 7 Remake. I loved it. It was great. And then I finally played Final Fantasy 7, and I get it. Like, I knew everybody tells you it's a good game. It's one of the best games ever. It is. Final Fantasy 7 is fucking goated. I went into it with pretty high expectations, and it did not disappoint. It was so fucking good. And then I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna do it. I'm just gonna play all the Final Fantasies. And before I even got started, they announced the Pixel Remaster. I'm like, this is it. I'm gonna buy it. I'm gonna play all of the Final Fantasies. And by golly, I did. Final Fantasy 1, 2, 3, 4. I took a break during 5. 5 was good. 4 and 6. 6? Oh my god. Final Fantasy 6. Oh my god. It is so fucking good. It is almost as good as 7. I went into these games with pretty decently high expectations, and I was just blown away by how good these games were. So at that point, I'm a full-on Final Fantasy fan. Final Fantasy 6 is goated. I love 9 slightly more than 6. I'm gonna get to 9. Brendan, you're back. Normally, I hate remastered games, but the Pixel remasters were fantastic. Yes, they were. So yeah, I played all the original Final Fantasies, and I had played 7, and I skipped 8 because 9? There was something special about 9. 9 really drew me in with its, like, I think with its fantasy setting and its, like, sillier character designs. Final Fantasy 9 is amazing. It's better than 6. I dare say it's better than 7. And I finished Final Fantasy 9 on my birthday. Speaking of birthdays, Final Fantasy 9, you guys. Oh my god, Final Fantasy 9. It was a truly special experience. It's been a couple years since I finished it. I need to, after I play 8, I might have to replay 9. I gotta try. Kingdom Hearts 3, base game, I very much dislike, but Remind DLC saved Kingdom Hearts 3 for me. That's like a hot take. I think base Kingdom Hearts 3 is pretty good. The critical mode established it as one of the better Kingdom Hearts games. Certainly better than Kingdom Hearts 2, but not quite as good as Final Mix, Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix. But then Kingdom Hearts 3 Remind, in my opinion, is the best Kingdom Hearts game. So like after Final Fantasy 9, what else did I play? I dipped my toes into Final Fantasy 8. I'm still working through it. It's been like a year since I've touched it. I will finish it one day. And then, oh, how can I forget Final Fantasy 16? I was following Final Fantasy 16 for a long time, and I had really high expectations, and in some ways the story, the way they did certain things didn't match up to what I had hoped for, but the game was amazing. Final Fantasy 16 is one of the best Final Fantasy games. I kind of wish, I think everything about it is great. I just have like a couple small gripes with it. And that's like, they kind of shafted like Shiva. I feel like you should have either played as Shiva or fought Shiva. And we should have been able to play as Ramu or fight Ramu. If you skip all the cutscenes, you wouldn't even really know Shiva and Ramu were there. And that's wrong. That's not okay. Base Kingdom Hearts 2 didn't have crit. I know. It's stupid. Base Kingdom Hearts 2 is good, but it certainly has its issues. Like when you compare it to Final Mix, it's like not nearly as good. Final Fantasy 12 was a great example of how to push the PS2 graphics. The Gambit system was a lifesaver. Yeah, I'm gonna, out of the PS2 Final Fantasy games, 12 is kind of at the top for me in terms of the ones I want to play. I have not played 10. I have not played 12. I have not finished 8. I have played 13. I forgot to mention 13. Oh my god. I bought 13 when it came out, and I beat it. And it was good at the time, but it didn't establish me. It didn't make me a Final Fantasy fan in the same way 15 did. I completely forgot that I played Final Fantasy 13. And I remember liking it. But yeah, I completely forgot. Probably because 13 didn't make me a Final Fantasy fan. 15 made me a Final Fantasy fan. But if they ever remaster or re-release 13 Part 1, 2, and 3, I'll get on that. Sure. Final Fantasy 9 is the furry Final Fantasy from what I heard. I'm interested, lol. Final Fantasy 9 is so fucking good. It's kind of like, in terms of gameplay and story, it feels like very much a mix of modern Final Fantasy and old school Final Fantasy. And when I say modern, I mean like 7 and 8. And when I say old school, I mean like 1 through 6. I'm sure like if you were like a Final Fantasy fan from the beginning and you've played all the way up till 9 was probably very special because it really felt like it went back to its roots a little bit. Only thing I will say that 9 is very slow, but still faster than 8. Yeah, Final Fantasy 8 is a bit of a fucking slog. Ugh. When I played Final Fantasy 7, I didn't have a memory card for my PS1, so I had to borrow a friend's whenever I was switching discs, and I just never turned my PS1 off. Whoa. Yikes. That's crazy. My brother did the same thing with our PS2. We didn't have a memory card. And he was playing, what's it called? Dark Fantasy? Is it Dark Fantasy? Dark Fantasy Moon? Dark Moon? What the hell was it called? Anyways, he never turned the PlayStation off. So yeah, that's, and then, yeah, 16. It's just awesome. And the DLCs were really, really good. By the time I got to the end of Final Fantasy 16, all I could think was, this is a Final Fantasy fucking game. Like, this is peak Final Fantasy. Thank you for subscribing, Brendan. Super duper appreciate it. Yeah, Final Fantasy 16, especially in terms of story and just those special moments, it's peak Final Fantasy. It kind of, like, your friends weren't there, so it wasn't like a power of friendship type moment, but they were with you in spirit. You carried with them their hopes and dreams of the future, and literally their powers. So, like, and then they had they had their own like little voice lines. God, dude, Final Fantasy 16 is so good, and the story is so good, and the characters are so good. Even Ultima, by the end of the game, I get him as a character, and because he was kind of like not a great character, like he's kind of like Ultima is exactly what he needs to be for this story, and as a contrast to Clive and his like ideology. He's like the perfect villain for Final Fantasy 16. Just like, but he's not like a great character. God, Final Fantasy 16 is so good. It's kind of sad that we're not going to get more out of it. Oh, holy moly. So yeah, that's like my Final Fantasy journey. Thanks. Thanks for listening, guys. I super duper appreciate it. Don't forget to like and comment and subscribe and all that fun stuff. And if you want to support me, you can check out my novel, Oregonia and the Legend of the Mies. There is a link in the description below. Thanks for watching, guys. Peace.